we're not happy, but we outshot them 17-9. They had higher quality than we did in the areas that mattered. So it's not fun to lose a game. There's still work to be done, and we got to get back to the drawing board.
Looking at the stats, Nil was a huge chance creator. James Vaughan creating the own goal. Arthur Boschua coming in off of the bench and creating a bunch of huge chances as well. Can you kind of talk about their performances and some of the positive things that you saw in the attack?
Yeah, there's a lot of positives. It's no fun to lose games, and no one's happy right now. But we started 2 17-year-olds who did solid. Again, we brought on a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old who did well. So we're developing guys, but we need to win games. The veteran guys, Arthur, James, these guys we brought in, they've done pretty well. We need to get some guys healthy, and we got to be better in those key moments. There were moments of the game where we could have scored goals. First 2 minutes of the game, we could have scored a goal. We score that, it changes everything. We haven't quite got over that hump yet, and we're just going to have to get back to the drawing board.
And it seemed like the team had a lot of success on the right side. Particularly, it looks like Simon and Adrian and Nil were having a lot of really good combinations. Can you kind of talk about what that looked like for you and kind of how that fit into the game plan?
Adrian scored a couple of goals for us so far. We're a little heavy-legged this week, but I think Tormenta was also. I think they looked a little fresher than us for whatever reason. Simon has done really great on that right side. Adrian's created some goals, so we got to just continue to do better and figure it out on the left, figure it out in the other areas.
Mm-hmm. I want to ask you this: does giving up an early goal affect your game plan at all, or throw you off your game model? Do you try to change something at giving up an early goal so early?
It's an interesting question, just because we look at all the data, right? And if you look at the data, we had 70-30 possession in the first half. We outshot them, for the whole game. We outshot them 17-9. So we're getting into the areas, we're trading opportunities. Whether a team scores on you early or not, we obviously don't want to give up a goal, but it doesn't really change the game plan. I mean, if we're getting to the areas we need to, we're getting the opportunities we should. We just gotta put them away.
I want to ask you this: how difficult was it to bring down Tormenta with them sitting so far back and having tight lines?
Yeah, I thought they were very good at counterattacking today. They had 2 great full field counterattacks. We needed to end those. Again, I think it just comes down to the quality in the final third. If we finish the things that we create, it's a different game, and we're having a different discussion. They were very good on the counterattack. They were hard to break down. Credit to them.
You guys obviously have a week and a half off. Open Cup's coming up midweek, April 2nd. How far are you looking at having just a week off to get guys back fresh and rejuvenated, and also for yourself?
Yeah, at the end of the day, we don't want to stop working because we owe the fans. A quality product, and we need to win. So, they'll get a couple of days to rest and recover, but we need to get some injuries back. We need some guys healthy, and we get to play against Maryland Bobcats a week from Tuesday. So we're going to concentrate on that Open Cup game, and we're going to work to fight our way back in.
And lastly, we saw Landon Johnson make his start to the season so far. Can you just talk about having him on that left-handed side, and how he looked at his performance?
Yeah, all the young guys have been great through the preseason. Landon went down to Tampa at the USL Academy Cup last week and had a great weekend, scored a great goal. He was ready for some minutes tonight, and I think you're going to see more of him as we go forward.
Full 90 tonight in front of 4,500 fans here at City Stadium. Can you kind of talk about the proper debut in front of City Stadium and what it felt like to play tonight?
Yeah, obviously it was a great experience to get out there in front of the fans for the first time. Obviously a disappointing result, not something that we want to look back on too fondly. But yeah, I can't thank the fans enough for the turnout tonight. It was a great time to play, and really enjoyed my time out there. We could hear them all game long and cheering for us, and yeah, hopefully next time we can put on a better performance for them and get the 3 points.
And tonight, team having almost 70% possession, obviously a really lively match for you and Zaka in the midfield, kind of trying to cycle the ball out, get it to Nil, to kind of create, what were the challenges that South Georgia Tormenta presented, and how do you guys feel like you succeeded in creating chances against them?
Yeah, I think the stats kind of say it all really with how we performed. Obviously we dominated possession and dominated chances. We just at the end of the day can take our chances, and those things happen in football. We're going to look back over the next week and really work on that kind of stuff. And yeah, obviously me and Zach were busy in there, but that's what you want in the midfield, right? We want to be able to get on the ball and feed our wide men and get the ball in the box as much as we can to give the opportunity to score. It's one of those things where we couldn't quite put in the back of the net as frequently as we wanted to tonight. But yeah, it's definitely something we'll look back on the drawing board and work on ready for the next game.
And then the goal that the kicker scored, credited to an own goal, but it was a cross that you whipped into the box with quite a bit of pace, and I don't think you really had a chance to put it anywhere other than the net. Can you kind of run us through that play, what you saw in that moment?
Yeah, obviously we changed formation, and I got put more on the right side. One of my strengths is whipping the ball in, so it's kind of just making sure when I got the opportunity to take a touch and whip it in, we know it would cause danger to their centre backs, and obviously Arthur being good in the air too. It's kind of one of those things learned on the game, which you need to put the ball in the box as much as possible and hope for something like that. If you know you can't get one of the Richmond guys on the end of it, then we need to have a bit of luck like that. So yeah, it's kind of one of those things. I saw the opening in the channel of uncertainty and put it in there, and obviously we got a bit of luck from it. So hopefully we were trying to kick on from that, but unfortunately, yeah, we weren't able to.
Yeah, and so you mentioned Arthur, kind of a different wrinkle when he came in, created a couple of big chances right there at the top. What's it like playing with a guy like that when you have him up top and knowing that you can cross a ball like that? What are the opportunities you were looking for, and how does it feel to, in this early start of the season, start to build some chemistry with a guy like that?
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great. We haven't been able to play too much together over pre-season. We've kind of picked up a few injuries here and there and stuff, but no, it's good. It's him and Nick are both great players to play with. They both bring slightly different things. Nick being a young guy and full of enthusiasm and energy, and Arthur has that experience up there to be able to hold that ball and really throw his body about. And sometimes you need that in a game. Like, we always want it to look pretty, and we love to play the Barcelona football and the tiki-taka, but at the end of the day, it's a results business, right? And we've got to put the ball in the back of the net. So yeah, we had the chances and whatnot, and hey, look, I fully back those two to be scoring a lot of goals this season.
You've been really versatile as a player. We see you play midfield to defense to even out on the wing. How is that experience for you translated to your playing at Richmond now?
Yeah, it's hey, look, it's one of those things, right? As a player, you need to be able to adapt, especially in the modern game. Obviously, yeah, I'm an out-and-out centre midfielder, but I have played at right back, in times, and these kind of things, you bring that experience. I'm an older guy in the team, so if I can help the team any way I can, then I will do that. It's we have a young squad, we have a very young squad, and they're a great squad with a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of ability. So there's going to be great things coming for it, and if I can be that older head that really helps them to adapt into the game, and games like that where they're a bit frantic, it's kind of my job, I guess, as a senior player to really make sure that we they turn up and they put their performance in for the team.
And just real quick, can you just take us through what happened on the second goal? It seemed like there was a loose possession at the top of the box, and then just a breakaway sprint.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one. I think Simon was up there, and then the guy kind of ran past Simon, and then Nils, who'd been on a yellow card, he can't take the guy out. So he kind of had to kind of run with him, but couldn't really touch him, knowing there's a red card. And yeah, it probably is something that we've trained on as well this week, and it's kind of disappointing to give up such a goal like that, because we really pride ourselves on being tough to beat, and especially through the centre of the park. And yeah, look, I think we're trying to push for it kind of late on in the game, and these kind of gaps open, unfortunately, and they were able to exploit that. They didn't have many opportunities tonight, but the opportunities they had, they took, and that's kind of unfortunately why we didn't get the win.
And I mean, we did start the game off. We saw a couple of loose touches and miscontrols downfield. Do you think this is down to having 3 games in 1 week, and how much is the team looking forward to having a week off before you guys kick off again in Open Cup?
Yeah, look, I think it's a bit of everything. We're a new squad together. There's a lot of new guys on the pitch. Mistakes can happen, right? We're not perfect. It's how we react from those mistakes, and that's what we pride ourselves on. I think as the game went on, we settled into it really well. And we were able to gain that possession and the dominance on the ball. And like I said, we couldn't be clinical in when it was really mattered, and unfortunately they had their opportunities and took them, and we didn't. So look, at the end of the day, we need to learn from that. We'll watch the video, we'll watch where we went wrong, and we'll definitely won't let that happen again.
So just to get started, Nil, obviously kind of a difficult night, but the team created a lot of chances, you being one of the top chance creators, James creating an opportunity that turned into an own goal, Arthur coming off of the bench, creating some big chances, in a more aerial position. Can you kind of talk about some of the things that went right tonight, and, on the flip side, the difficulties of playing this tormented team?
Yeah, I mean, I feel in terms of the stats, in terms of the subjective approach that we can talk about, tactically how we played the game. We talked before the game about controlling the game, and I think we controlled the game throughout the whole first half. Second half, we were pushing and creating more chances. we need to be better in the final third. We need to create more chances and better quality chances and finish those chances, and that's on us. We take responsibility attacking players as me. We have to do a better job at that, but I don't think we can ask the team for a better response, for a better performance in terms of the way that we're playing. And as I told the boys after, if we keep doing that for the whole season, in the long term, we're going to be in a good place, and that's what we have to keep trusting. So yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, referencing those stats too, the team was doing really well as far as final third entries, touches in the opposition box. You know, what did you feel worked really well in the attack tonight?
Yeah, well, I think Tormenta was respecting us a lot. I think they were in a low block for most of the game and trying to counter. So that provided a lot of opportunities to cross. You know, we have Nick, we have Arthur when he came on, he did an amazing job. So some big boys that are very good in aerial duels, and we created some chances with that. But we also created different ways and different chances, right? We had some shots from outside of the box. Tiger had a good one in the first half. The goal that came moving the ball, dribbling, moving the ball, and an own goal. So different type of crosses, and that's, I think, testament to the unpredictability that we have in the team and the quality that we have. And it's just about, when we have the guys healthy, we're going to have even more, and of course finishing the chances at the end of the day.
And then on that right side too, Adrian's really come into his own so far to start the season. Seems to be linking up really well with Simon, and then you've been able to come in and play those triangles and kind of cycle the ball through with a lot of those dangerous crosses then coming in from that right side, finding the far post. You know, what's it been like building that chemistry with Adrian, and then, you know, mixing Simon in as he continues to get better and better as an offensive fullback and things like that?
Yeah, well, I knew Adrian from Tormenta when we trained together, and he's a top player. He's a quality player. I think his ability to dribble and to see the game is helping us a lot, and he's creating a lot of chances, and it allows, as you said, Simon, to get higher and get more of a productive role on the tag, which I think he's done an amazing job. One of the first 5-6 minutes that we had, the cross from Simon that I almost scored, good save from the keeper. So those are the things that we have to keep trusting. Simon, again, every time I cut in, I see him higher up the field, so he has that mentality of getting assists, getting into goal, getting into dangerous positions. So yeah, both, good job from both.
Sure. First of all, I want to just ask you, opening minutes of the game, unfortunately it's the second game in a row where the kickers let in an early goal. How does that deflate you guys anyway, make you guys kind of change the game model a little bit from what you expected to be or anything like that, or you guys just stay the course?
Yeah, again, first I would say the two goals that we conceded in the early minutes of both games, Spokane and here, they are goals that I think the guys tried it 100 times. I don't think it's gonna happen again. Carlo, amazing goal today, fair play to him, but it is kind of deflating to an extent, right? You start at home, you're excited, you're playing good, just like in Spokane, and then the goal comes. But I think the response is a testament to the culture, to the character of the group, and we kept playing, we kept creating chances. So even though, of course, we don't want to concede that goal, I think the answer was, the response was very good from the group.
And speaking about that response, Tormenta was playing, like you said, on a low block, very tight in between the lines. What is your job kind of in between that spots in the midfield of trying to pull Tormenta's players out and create space for players running behind on crosses?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I try to stay a little bit higher up because that's where I can receive. When I receive the ball, I'm more dangerous, and I think Griffin has done an amazing job at finding me on those half spaces and for me to be able to turn and run at people. But there's times too that when I go a little deeper, Carlo was following me and was leaving almost a 2v1 with both Maxi and Ryan on the left side. So just playing with the midfielders, and at the end of the day, they kept the structure very good. And until someone doesn't drive and attract a player, it's difficult to break the line. I think we did a better job, especially at the end of the second half, when we were pushing for the second goal. But it's tough. It's always tough to break down a low block.
And unfortunately, you caught an early yellow card at the start of this game. How much did that play a fact on the second goal where you were driving with the player and you couldn't really get tights on this one?
Yeah, I mean, the yellow card, it's the first foul that I make. It's not really like a dangerous situation because we have a lot of people behind the wall. I talked to a ref. It's unfortunate, and it definitely had an impact on the second goal because I knew I couldn't foul him, and if not, I would have. But it's not an excuse. I have to do a better job at first not losing the ball and conceding the yellow card, and second, on the second goal, of course, being more compact as a team and trying to prevent the goal.
And lastly, obviously this team has had a rough start to the season, 3 games in a week. Traveling from Spokane, come here playing Open Cup, and then playing Tormenta. You guys get a week off before you play against Open Cup against Maryland. How much is this team needing that week to get guys back in healthy and just kind of just get a fresh start before they go into the Open Cup and before you go to the Open Cup?
Yeah, it's a way to look at it. I think we have 2 weeks to again get Demi back, get Joao back, get Donny back, get a lot of important players in the team. I think the guys that started, even like Griffin, Nick, the academy guys, have done a very good job at stepping in those roles. But it's, of course, Emmy being the 3-time MVP, it always helps to have him around. Joao being a very creative player, and Oni being an aggressive player on the back. We will have internal competition, and that will definitely get the team going. But I would say again, it's been a tough start of the season in terms of results. But I would say one of the most encouraging starts of the season in terms of the performances that the team has put forward, and that's what we have to keep trusting. Both the supporters, which I know is tough, but the team as a whole too.